right. Maybe it's picked up the audio now. And I've already written this out. I've started to do this like yesterday, and it just was going all over the place. I don't know if you'll see this one, but I never do know, right, till I'm done. And I watch it and make sure what I noticed that this is the same day that I did the first outside live stream, which was done on Wi-Fi. I need for it to be able to do that over the phone data, and I'm working on it. I'm really working on it because I don't want to. On the video, I said, "This is my front yard. It's not mine. I've been totally blessed to be able to nurture some land though here, and stay here. But it's not mine. I don't own it. Although I'm the one that decided. I tend it, you know. I tend this garden. It's a garden. I've got videos of the entirety of the garden at its peak right now. It's kind of done, you know. It's harvest time. It's fall. It's pretty much gone. Everything that was here during the spring and summer is fading away, turning back into, you know, losing its animation and turning back into soil, because that's what we do. That's what he told us to do. The one who made all this, the one who designed all this, told us, if you want to know what the very first commandment is, and I don't know how I'm doing it, go look. If you got to have a commandment from somebody who knows what he's talking about, the first thing he told us was be fruitful, multiply, and cover the earth. I don't care what King James paid those guys to say. I know exactly what he meant. Okay, I'm doing it, and it works. By covering the earth, we will be fruitful and we will multiply. Life on this planet, life. So anyway, I got a little ahead of myself, because this is where Jesus talks about something like this. And I'm not trying to take heaven away from anybody. Okay, if heaven's okay, if that's where you want to, that's what you want to do. That's what you want. That's what you want. I don't know who aren't meek. The meek, it's pretty popular. Pretty popular verse. I heard this back when I was a little kid and on TV shows and movies. Okay, it'd be like at funerals and stuff when they have Wally Cox come in and be the pastor and do a service, or this and the Lord's, what they call the Lord's Prayer. The 23rd Psalm, I think, was a big one. So, but I didn't think anything of it, you know. It was just something on the TV. But it means a lot to me now. Once I got to read it for myself and understand who it was that was saying it, who he was saying it to, and why he was saying it. I know one thing in the text, and I put shall. This could be will. If you're going to put a word here, it could be will. I don't remember. It may not. This is how it reads for sure. The meek inherit earth. Okay? That's for sure. This other stuff, that might have been added by the scribes. Alright? Just saying. But you can go look, and even if it is, it's not that bad out of whack or anything, but what's he talking about? Because Christianity tells us that our eternal inheritance is heaven. I keep thinking of that. If you didn't see the little live broadcast blurb I did today, which you can tell it's on a Sunday, which there's a different vibe on Sundays, and someday we'll talk about that. But at the time of this, it was a Sunday. So the bees were breaking the Sabbath out there all over the place, weren't they? I'm just saying. Jesus says the Father never rests. Okay? He didn't take a break. He didn't have a Sabbath. He works to this day. And Jesus knows a lot about outdoors. Okay? He really does. He was, out a lot. So, when I'm out there, I see the Father. I see the Father in those bees on that video. So anyway, I don't have a big problem with us inheriting the earth. This is not an issue for me. But what do Christians do with this? And what do they do with... I'm really not picking on Christians. I always say I'm trying to save Christians. Because there's such a beautiful thing that he's done for us on this, right here on earth. If we can stop tearing it up, and we will stop tearing it up. That's how I see a future. I understand why, which Meek is kind of a King James use, Old English kind of a word. I would say if I got to put the meaning in for Meek, would be peaceable. Peaceable inherit earth. Okay? Hang on a second. There's some noise in the background here. There's a little bit of closing Run the risk. Always run the risk, right? Like the church bus going by on the live feed thing. So yeah, okay, so what if? What if I'm right? What if Jesus was right? What if all the prophets that say our eternal inheritance is the earth? Where does that fit in? It fits in perfectly with resurrection. It doesn't fit very, I used to be a destroyer of the earth, which is what I was taught. I was raised on a farm in Indiana, and we tore down trees to plant crops. I actually made a pretty good living at it for a while. And I thought I was doing the right thing. That's what you do. That's what, I wasn't a Christian or anything, but I found out one of the things that God says you got to do is to till the soil, till the earth, which destroys it. And it's slowly destroying us. Because when you till it and kill all that natural, life-giving microbes and life that's in there, they're the ones that are supposed to do all the hard work taking care of the plants, right? So that's kind of stupid to kill them to start with, but that's what we do. You don't want any critters in your soil. We've turned soil, which there's a difference between soil and dirt. Dirt is the mineral composition. It has no life in it. Soil is alive. And we have been destroying the life. So what we're farming in now, from what I can tell, is dirt. And we add a bunch of chemicals and all kinds of stuff. Hormones now, all kinds of stuff. Poisons of all kinds. But the meek inherit earth, that's what he said. I'm here to agree with him, and I'm here to, I guess, say what I can see, and I can see that that's possible. I can tell that that is not an impossibility, because the amount of nutrition and health and life that comes out of this, when you leave it alone and let it do what it's supposed to do, has the ability to heal and cure and elongate, at the very least, life. And we were told that, right after the garden, before the flood, we had long lives. The Native Americans that were here in this country, here in the United States, have reported that they knew some of their ancestors lived hundreds of years old, not distant millions of years ago, thousands of years ago, just before we got here. They weren't, because they didn't tear it up so much. They didn't go around killing trees all day long. It's caused a change in our climate. I know that. Take that as well. Anyway, I'm not political on anything like that anymore. I'm just saying this could be true. I can see it. If you could come here and see how much food's coming out of this little tiny bit of land, you could understand what I'm seeing. And it's not just the food. If we had done what he said, the earth would have had a thick, bouncy covering on it by now that none of our kids could have got hurt. We couldn't have gotten injured by the earth. I don't know, if you fell out of a plane without a parachute and land on your head, you might get hurt, but you could fall from a tree, pretty high up in a tree, it wouldn't hurt you. So anyway, it would be a safe place, I think, and much milder climate and much cleaner air and perfectly pristine water again. And it can all happen. If we go ahead and follow the instructions, it still happens. So, well, what about heaven? Well, you got to go back to the first verses. What's under here? Push this aside for a minute. Because I went and looked at it a while ago, which I don't really like to do, but I did. It was heavens. In the beginning, Elohim, I'm not going to say God, because I know it was Elohim, created the heavens. Plural. I mean, it's written in King James as heaven, but go look at it. And then, and, the word that they translate as and is an untranslatable word. And it's not and. This was two separate. There was a division between the heavens, created heavens, and the created earth. Then, if I was going to put a translation to that word, then works for me. Heavens, then earth. Because there was a difference. And there may be multiple heavens. Paul, in his writings, says he went to the third one. Enoch talked about different heavens. I don't know. I've never been there. I'm not really trying to get there. We aren't from there. We're from here. Matter of fact, we're made of this earth. Adam means earth. Dirt, earth. And we have to have a covering too to be comfortable. So there you go. I might as well do the H since I did the E. H-E. He. He is the designer, creator. He brought these into existence. And I believe they're part of themselves. Certainly earth. The way he tries to show us how he did all this, in my opinion, was with Adam. Is it because Adam was, had a head and 2 legs? Is it because Elohim has a head, 2 legs, and 5 fingers or whatever? No. Not necessarily. Although, what a design, huh? This design that he gave us is perfect for doing what he asked us to do, which was to cover the earth and tend the garden. Now, we haven't done those very first things that we were told to do. What the God of this world wants to highlight is, oh, you screwed up and you ate that fruit and I told you not to. Now you're in trouble, you and all your generations. Not very forgiving. He's been punishing us according to those texts for that mistake and all of our offspring, unless you do find the right religion and then you act right till you're gone. The Catholics, I gotta say, at least they got the. In my opinion, yeah, you need to. If you gotta be forgiven to get to heaven, then you need your last rites. Okay, you need that last minute chance to make sure everything's right. Anyway, I don't ascribe to any of that myself, but I'm just saying I know where the idea came from, because if that's the game, that you have to be sinless when you die to get to heaven. And okay, but me, I'm not trying to get there. I'm not trying to get to heaven. I thought when I was playing the game, when I was going to church, but it doesn't take that much study to find out that this isn't even Jesus. Okay, here we go again, the Jesus formula. Jesus barely talks about heaven. Sometimes when he is talking about heaven, he's talking about the sky. And it takes a lot of study to sort it out, because they've tried to tip everything, heavily in their favor. So heaven and hell they make it seem like that's all nowadays. Preachers, it's a central foundational teaching. This place here is going to be better than heaven ever. That's why this was the first. His first creation. How do we do it? Okay, if we're in His image, how can we understand what it was like? Why heaven? Well, first of all, if this guy is looking for somebody to hang out with, a mate, some company, he's by himself, what's the first thing he's going to try to make? I mean, all the sci-fi movies, the first thing they do is try to get a robot when they're stranded on a planet, by themselves, and they're on an island, and they got the equipment. They try to make poor, Tom Hanks and his Wilson, right? So I think that's exactly what heaven was. And it produced a lot of creatures, beings. I don't know how many. There's multiple heavens. I don't know how many. I have no idea. I have a single bunch. I mean, I think he's got me likening it to the earth too, and the ocean. Like the ocean is one, almost a totally different part of this earthly creation, and the life forms in it are alive, but they're not like the land life. Right? They're breathing air out of the water and stuff. I mean, it's totally different. So that could be like a different heavens. You can have one heaven, it's just a bunch. I don't know. Maybe one heaven's all programmed like robots, and then the other heaven is just companions like pets. I don't know. But we didn't come from there. But as the story goes, this is a Christian tradition, okay? And I'm not going to argue too much with it because it sounds pretty right to me. The head gorilla got out of the zoo and came down here and tricked Adam and Eve, dressed up like a snake. I tricked Eve. And Adam was right there, okay? Eve was amazing, by the way. We can do that later about Eve. Eve was, she was the last of creation. So if it is an order to creation, which I definitely believe there is, everything in nature shows us that there's an order, a progress to us. Matter of fact, what's his face saw it, Darwin saw it, and he was convinced that that's exactly how everything happened. Because look, it started out the tiniest thing, went to the biggest thing. That's not how it worked, but maybe in the Papa's mind, I don't know how many eons, millennia, he pondered stuff and put it together before he actually brought it into existence. We're supposed to be able to do some of that same thing. So, yeah. The heavens, where we didn't come from, is where Christians all say we're headed to, and that's the goal, is to get there. I know for sure that the one that was kicked out of there wants back. And the way I see it is, that's a heavy influence on those that follow him. Okay? They get this strange desire to go where they call home. Biblically, it definitely was not home. We didn't come from there. He breathed, Papa breathed, modeled this out of the dirt, earth. This is earth. We are earth and this is earth. There, how about that? Yeah, fancy, huh? Earth. We're both earth. We're earth. We're a sentient earth, if you will, that he breathed his kind of life into. Now, everything that has a breath of life came from him, and all life comes from him. But he formed us in an image of him. We're the only ones that can talk. We are the only ones that can imagine. We can imagine him making us in his image. Those imaginations vary. Like I said, I've heard arguments that, did Adam have a belly button? I don't care. That's beside the point to me. Thing is we're from here. We're from the earth. We're made from the earth. Hybrid, if you will. A spirit being living inside of whatever you want. I've heard the guru say we're a spirit being having a human, experience or whatever. I just think that's us. We are unique, and we were not created as servants like they were here. Okay, these things that were here didn't have free will. I don't think they have gender. There's no indication that they even have a real gender. They don't have any fear of death because they don't really know what death is. I halfway think that when the snake was telling Eve you won't die, it's because he didn't even understand. He didn't even know what death was, maybe, or if it just meant cease. He knew he couldn't. He could see the spirit inside of this flesh. That snake could. That's what I think. Looking at the spirit, which was his master spirit in us, he must have thought we were crazy if we thought we could ever die. You know? He was like, probably why he hid himself in a snake. He did. He was afraid of us, I'm pretty sure. Or he was definitely puzzled, and he thought we were flawed. He sees the flesh, I can tell, because all his children see our flesh as filthy and rotten, and that's where all the sin comes from, is the flesh, and blah, blah, blah. And he makes it look like when we were created it was a big mistake, and you know, we need to pay for stuff. We're being punished because of the way we came out when we were created. That doesn't make any sense. Papa's smarter than that. All right. I know I spent some time. I don't want to make these videos really long, but this could go on for a long time. And, but I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's entertaining. I need to keep my smiley face on too, and I know one thing is when I listen to some of these videos, I can't even understand myself what it was I was saying, because I get so excited and I start going so fast. So that's why I want it to be live though, and interactive. You know, I'm looking for the community of people on YouTube, at least, who understand what I'm saying, or have something to add to it. They call it, some people are calling it tribe right now, but brethren, real brethren. Brother Jesus is one of the few I have right now, bro. Jeebus. Brother Jeebus. I'm sorry. I'm not. He's something else. If you look at those bees that were out there, you can tell he's got a sense of humor. Those little, I don't know what you call them, adolescent bumblebees, or carpenter bees, I think they were. Anyway, yeah, the platypus ought to prove it. Papa's got a great sense of humor, so does brother. And being like little children, it was important to him. So, you know, I'm going to clown a little bit. It's better if I do. It's really better if I do, let me tell you. So, okay, all right. Peace. I don't know if I was finished with this or not. I don't remember why that. I didn't want to offend somebody by getting rid of heaven. Heaven is so dear to so many people. And I know what, no matter what, if you've lost someone, they're in a really great resting state, for darn sure. I know that. Okay? Deep sleep, Jesus said. And having great dreams, as far as I know. We're done with this. We're done with that part. I'm done with this video right now, too. Maybe there'll be a part 2 someday. We don't know. We never know, right? All right. Peace and safety. And later.